Hello everyone, welcome to TechSharmit. In this session, we will start with another case study or project which is based on inventory management system. So let me show you all functionality that we are going to implement for this application. So these are the functionality. So basically we are considering it in two modules. First one is for vendor and another one is for customer. Okay, so let's see what all functionality we are planning to implement. First one will be the login functionality where customer and vendor both can log in by providing the credential. Now the second function means these three functionality: send quotation request, view quotation and place order, view receipt and payment. These functionality are related to customer. And last three functionality, which is generate quotation, generate receipt and dispatch product, will be related to the vendor. So in send quotation request, the customer can send the request for the quotation of the product that he has selected. Then in second, view quotation and place order, he can see all those detail which is generated by the vendor. So there on this screen or option, he can see all the details related to quotation and he can place the order. Then third functionality for customer is view receipt and payment. Here he will see the all amount, like how much he needs to pay and all, and from the same screen he can do the payment. Okay, same thing if we want to go from the vendor side, then he has three option. First one is generate quotation, from where he can decide whether the quotation need to be approved or decline. Then once he decided whether the quotation should be approved or declined, then he can generate the receipt. So second option is for generate the receipt. And once like customer has placed the order, then we have one option for dispatching the product. So this is how our application will go, and these are the functionality that we are planning to cover in this entire session. Okay, so by the end of this session you will have some good understanding like how to create the application related to inventory management system, and all the basic stuff like how to design screens, how to create physical file, and what all logic we need to implement for processing the functionality like login and sending the data from one screen to another. So all these things we are going to cover in this entire series. Okay, so let's see all the functionality one by one. Okay, so now I will show you the first screen, that is login screen, and in this portion mainly we will discuss like how to design that login screen. Okay, and then one by one we will proceed for the further case study. So let me call this program and show you the output first, and then we will design the login screen. So I'm calling it. So here you can see that we have some header information mentioned here, and this is the username password, where password field is a non-displayed field, and this is the footer information, f3 equals to exit. Okay, and whenever user hit enter, so it will give, like it will validate for the credential, and if it is not given properly, then it will show the message login field. And if we are providing the correct one, let's say if I am providing like this, so this will give the message. So let me put the correct credential here. So yeah, we got the message, welcome customer. So for now we are just displaying this message. Later we will go to add the further dashboard for this. Okay, similarly if I go with v123456 and the password, then it will give the message welcome vendor. So mainly for this screen we are going to take two type of user. We are going to accept credential from two type of user, vendor and customer. Okay, so logic part we will discuss later. For now we are just going to discuss about this screen designing part. So let's go to the display file. So firstly I will tell you how to create the object for display file, means the source. So just press F6 from your keyboard, and here you can put the name whatever you want to give the member name. Let's say SDSPF, and here we are supposed to pass the source type, and here you can put your description. Okay, so once you provide these three information and then hit enter, so on this blank you can write file for save and exit. So now this member is added. Okay, now for further editing we will take option 17, and here we can add the record, let's say test record. Okay, and type will be the record only, and here whatever the things we want to design, we can design it here. Okay, so for now I am deleting this one because we are not going to use this one, we have already created. So let me delete this, and I will show you the actual one, the one which we are designing for the case study. So this is the case member IBMi. I'm taking option 17 here. So here you can see we have already added one record, which is login page. So I'm taking option 12 here. So once you got the blank screen, after that we will design these things. So how to design these things, let's see. So first thing is regarding the text. So let's say if you want to keep any text on the screen, then you have to write inside the code. So let's say I'm writing in this way, test. Okay, so it is added. Now if you want to shift it to right side, you can use right angular brackets and hit enter. So it will be shifted to the right. Similarly, if you want to go for left side, use left angular bracket. If you want to move your field, so just put your hyphen here, and wherever you want to move it, just write equals to and hit enter. So it will be moved. If you want to copy it, just select by hyphen, and wherever you want to paste it, just go and write double equals. So it will be copied there. Okay, one thing, make sure that do not press, in any condition, do not press backspace or delete button on this screen designing screen, otherwise it will disturb your design. So instead of that, we will use D for deleting the things. Let's say if I want to delete this one, so I will write D here on placeholder position. So this is the placeholder position, and hit enter. Similarly, we can delete this one also. Okay, so this is all about the text. Now how to change color for text, just write test. So this is the string. Now I want to set the color, so just put asterisk over there, and in colors go and take Y, and from here you can select any color. Let's say I want to go with yellow color, so I will select it by 1 and hit enter. So it is added now. Okay, so this is the way through which we can select the color, but there is one more shortcut key. If there is no color selected previously, then in that case we can do one short trick, like put your cursor on the placeholder, write C, and with overlapping you can write the first letter of the color. Let's say I want to go for white, so I will write W. So C is on placeholder, W is overlapping, and hit enter. So it will be changed to white. But this will work only for the first time. If you want to change it again, then you have to take option asterisk, and in same manner you can remove the one from white and select any of the other color which you want to select. Okay, so I'm deleting it. Now let's see how. So in same manner we have added this text TechSharmit, which is the channel name and inventory management system. Okay, and this date, time, this is also a kind of text, user, program. Now we will see these values. So these values are coming from the program system values. So for that we will use the function start date. If you hit enter, so it will provide you the current date. Okay, so this field we are not supposed to fill from program, it will directly taken by the system. Deleting it. Similarly, you can fetch the time. So this is time. Similarly, you can use the user. So it will provide you the user. So these three fields means user one, date and time is coming from function. Now we will see this one. So this is a output field. So let me tell you about the all input and output field. So for string, we have three ways. Either we can go with I means input. So just write plus I, whatever the length you want to give, and hit enter. So this is input field. Similarly for output, go with O, whatever the size you want to give. This is output field. Similarly for both means here user can take the input as well as show the output also. So these are the three types of field for string. Similarly for numeric values, we have three is for input, 6 is for output. So this is 6 is for output, and then we have 9 is for both. Okay, so this will provide you these details. So in this manner we will use the fields. Now if you want to change the color, like you can go directly with asterisk, and from here you can select the color, whatever your color you want to select. Okay, so this is not a big deal. You can select any color by taking option Y on the colors. And okay, now whenever we are declaring any new field, we are supposed to assign some name to it, otherwise we will not be able to access it in the program. So I'm putting question mark here and hitting enter. So it will give this field, which is FLD001. Okay, so this field we can access with this name. If you want to change the field name, then you can change it, like let's say S1 test. So now this field will be accessed by the S1 text. Likewise, we will assign name to the other fields also. Okay, so this is all about the field declaration. In same manner, we have declared this output field where we will populate the data from program. So let's see what name we have added here, S1 program name. So whenever we are writing program, we will assign the value directly to this field using this name. Okay, so I hope this field part is clear to all of you. Now I'm deleting this because we are not going to use this one. So I'm deleting it. Yeah, so it is deleted. Now header portion is covered because this is the normal text. Then we have three function related value, date, time, user. This is output field. We have assigned the name to it. Now we will see the main thing, which is this. So here we are taking username. This is the input field, and we have assigned the name as S1 username. S1 means it is coming from screen. So this just for the identification, we keep S1 on every field. Now here is also one field which is not visible because we have set the attribute non-display. But if you put your cursor on the placeholder and do asterisk, then it will be visible to you. Okay, so how to make this, like if I hit enter, how to make this field non-displayed? So let's say if we will create another field. Okay, let's say 3 and 10. So this is numeric value, right? Now if I want to make it non-display, just put your cursor on here and press asterisk, go for display attribute, and from here you can select ND or non-display. So once you select it, it will be non-displayed for user. Okay, but if you know where is the cursor placeholder position, then you can put asterisk again and you can change the other thing if you want to change anything. Okay, so this is how we will make the field non-displayed. So I'm deleting it for now. So in the same manner, we have added one field here because whenever user inserting any password, it should not be visible to the screen. So it is clear. We have designed two fields. One is for input for taking the username, and another one is for output for taking the password. Just this field is a non-displayed field, and this is the normal text. Now at the bottom we have one output field which we will use to populate some messages to user. Let's say invalid user or valid user, whatever the things we want to populate, we will give it here. So we just declare one output field and assign the name as S1 error message, and this is a normal text which is F3 exit. So it will indicate user that if he press the F3, it will be exit from the program. So this is all about this login screen designing. Now I'm taking F12. After designing screen, you can set the indicator. So I'm taking option 8 here, going for indicators, and we have set the indicator, first indicator as CF03. So whenever user press CF03, it will perform the exit operation. Okay, so this is all about the screen designing. Now simply hit enter and compile your display file. So after compiling display file, you can compile your program also. Program logic we will see in next portion, like how we are writing the logic for it. But for now, we have just seen how to design screen. So this is how our screen will look like once we have designed it. Okay, now we will see the logic for this, as well as for we will see the physical file structure that we are going to use for validate the data for login. Okay, so now we will discuss the structure of physical file that we are going to use for the validation purpose of login screen. Okay, so on the basis of this PF and the data of this PF, we will decide whether the customer dashboard we have to populate to the user, or we have to populate the vendor dashboard. Okay, so mainly this file we will use for validation purpose. So let me show you the physical file structure first. So I'm taking the program this physical file in edit mode by taking option 2. So you can see that firstly we are setting the record format name. So if you are not aware of this thing, then you can press F4 on the screen in this field and just pass the name type as R and name as login file R, which is record format name. Now hit enter. So wherever we want to access this file, we will use this record format name, right? Now first field we are declaring is username. The length of username is 8. A is for alphanumeric, and we are using column heading for setting the column name, which is username. So wherever we want to see the data, it will come with this column name. If you are not aware of any of this field, then you can simply place the cursor here and press F1. So this help screen will tell you which type of data we should accept for this, like what all possible data type, right? And make sure one thing, that whenever you are declaring the field, numeric field, just set it as a numeric value, or means it set it from the right aligned, not from the left aligned, otherwise it will give error. Okay, then simply hit enter. This is the second field we are going to set, which is password. And if I do enter, then this is the third field we are going to use, which is for user type. Then simply hit enter, and we are setting one key field, which is username. So by doing this, we have set the structure for the physical file. In our previous case study, we were not using this user type field, because that time we are not going to take any decision on the basis of user type. But this time we have added this one, so that we will decide whether the user is customer or a vendor. After defining the structure, you can simply compile your PF. I'm not going to compile this because I have already uh, stored some data in it. So if I do recompilation, then it will remove all the data. So to show the data, I will go with the run query. So just simply write in OPT field, write RQ, which is for run query, and hit enter. Then on this screen, hit enter again. So this is the data we have stored so far. First one is this username, this is the password, and this is the user type. So I keep this first character as initial, because if you don't want to use this third column, then you can decide from this also, like you can just fetch the first character from the username, and if it is C, then you can make it as customer. If it is V, then you can consider it as a vendor. But it is up to you, like either you can go with this approach or you can go with this user type approach. For this application, we are going to use this one. So we will directly check, we will do the chain on this record, and if the type is C, then we will show the customer portal, otherwise we will show the vendor portal. So this is the data, right? So on the basis of this data, we are going to validate whether the user is customer or vendor. Okay, so now we are done with the screen designing for login screen, and also we have discussed the structure of physical file that we are going to use for validation. Now we will discuss the logic, how we are doing the basic validation and showing the dashboard to the user. Okay, so far we have discussed how to design the login screen and what PF we are going to use for the validation purpose and what all data we have stored in it. Okay, now what we will do, we will see the logic, how to do the basic operation like validation operation for performing the login. So for same, let me tell you first how to create the program. So to create the program, you can press F6, and here you can pass the program name, let's say test PGM, and the type should be rpgle, and here you can put any description. So after that, just hit enter. So this will open a blank screen for you where you can write the code, and for save and exit you can write file. Okay, so it is added now here. So we are not going to use this one, so I'm deleting it, and this is the one which we are going to use, which is INVMNG which means inventory management system rpgle program. R is for rpgle, D is for display file. Now I'm taking this program in edit mode. So as usual, we are writing the code in fully free format. So this is the comment we have uh, noted here just for the clarification. And firstly, we are declaring the control option. So right now we are declaring two control options: star no debug IO or star src stmt, which is for like no debug IO is for the debugging purpose, like whenever we are taking the program in debug mode, in that case it will not show again and again the input output operations on file. And src stmt we are using so that if in any case if there is any failure in the program, then for checking the spool file, it will help us to provide the exact source statement line number. Okay, so this is about the control option. Below to that, what we are doing, we are just declaring one physical file. So to declare the physical file, you can write dclf and then the file name. So my file name is login file. We just see the structure of this, and then we will use the keyword disk. Users will be star input, star output, and star update. And it is keyed file, so we just use that keyed keyword. If you are using keyed file, then it is mandatory, right? Now below to that, we are declaring the display file. So to declare the display file, you can directly write dclf and then display file name, and keyword is workstation. Below to that, we are declaring one variable. This variable we are going to use for the validation purpose. So we just declare dcls. Variable name is, so as this is the work field, so I'm initializing it with, means I have keep the w underscore as a prefix so that we can identify that this is the work field. User type, it is of type character 1, initialized. Okay, now from here, line number 28, the main logic is started. So what we are doing, firstly we are clearing the s1 error message, so that whenever user log in for the very first time, then it should not give any kind of error. So we are just making it clear. Below to that, we are assigning the name to the program name field in the display file. So we know that all the fields that we are referring from the screen is suffixed is prefixed with s1. So this is a screen field and we are assigning name to it. So s1 program will be populated with the program name, which is inbmngsysr. So we just hard coded this value. Below to that, we are running one loop till the in03 is off. It means whenever user press F3, then it will turn on and it will came out of the loop and program will be ended. But if it is not pressed, then it will show the screen. Okay, now once F3 is off, means whenever F3 is not pressed, then it will show the screen which is login base. So we are doing the exfmt, so this line will show the screen, and below to that we are running one routine which is verify cred. So the routine name is $verified cred. So it is not mandatory to keep the dollar every time, but just for simplification or better code readability, I keep dollar with the subroutine name so that it will be indicated easily. Okay, so let's see what we are doing here in invalid cred routine. If I do F4, so yeah, this is the routine that we are using. So basically what we are doing, whenever user screen is shown to the user, he will, like here at the top, right, once this line got executed, screen will be populated, then user will key in some ID and password, and then we are going for this routine for for verification, right? So what we are doing here, we are doing chain with s1 username which is coming from the screen into login file. So if this record is found in file and the password which is stored in physical file is equal to the screen field password, then it is valid user, because record is found and password is also matched. In that case, we will go inside the condition and we'll check for the user type. So this is also a file field. So whatever the thing is started with s1 is screen field and other one is file field. So we are checking if user type is C, then we are storing it in work field, although we can directly use this field also, but just for the future purpose, like it might be need full for future to use this or to modify this work field, so we just kept inside the work field as C. So if type is C, then it is, we will store C and clear the error message. Otherwise we will make it as a V, because only C and V we are going to store in the file. Okay, so either it will be C or a V, where C is for customer, V is for vendor. If record is not present, like if we are doing chain with s1 username, if it is not present, in that case we will give the error as s1 error message as invalid credentials, and we are clearing the user type. And then we are simply coming out of the loop, sorry, from the routine. So after this routine got executed, we got the value of user type, because if it is present and if it is C, then it will be the C, means the customer, otherwise it will be the vendor. So we are just checking the user type. If user type is C, then we are displaying the message as welcome customer. Else if user type is V, then we are displaying the message as welcome vendor. Other than C and V will be considered as login field. So we are just setting the message as login field. Okay. So this is how we are just displaying the message, and then we are doing undo. Like whenever user press F3, it will go for undo, and then we are setting the star INLR request to star on means last record indicator on. Okay. For now we are just displaying this message, but later what we will do, we will add some dashboard here and other screens will be there. So as per the logic, we will take this application further for handling all the application functionalities. Okay, but just for now we are displaying the message. So this is all about the code. Let me compile it. So after writing the code, you can compile it and just call it. So it will look like now if I put any random data and hit enter, it will give the login field. And if I put the correct username and password, which is C123456, if I put wrong credential, then it will give login field. But if I put correct one, like password is also correct this time, then it will print the message welcome customer. And if I go with vendor ID, then it will check for the vendor type and it will return the message welcome vendor. Okay, so this is how we can write the logic for basic validation operation for this application. Now after this we are going to discuss about various screens that we are going to use inside the program, and we'll also see the logic for it. Okay, so far we have discussed like how to write the basic rpgle program for performing the login operation and for doing the basic validation required for that. Okay, now we will go one step ahead, where we will discuss how to design the customer dashboard. So let me show you the output first, and then we will go to the designing part. So I'm calling this program. So here we can pass the ID and password. So prior to that, what we are saying that whenever we are doing the login, it just displayed one message, welcome customer or welcome vendor. But this time, whenever we are providing the ID, it will show the respective dashboard. So if I do enter here, so this is how the customer dashboard will look like. Okay, so from here the customer can see these three options that he can select: send quotation request, view quotation and place order, view receipt and payment. And this is the input field where he can select the option, and accordingly the further screen will be displayed. So mainly we will discuss this process. For now we are just going to discuss only with the customer dashboard, but later we will also see that vendor dashboard screen. Okay, which will look like this. But for now just focus on the customer dashboard. So I will take option 17 here, and this is the record I have added for customer dashboard. So in same manner, like you can take option 1, then select the record name and you can add this. Once it is added, you can take option 12 for designing, and this is how it look like. So this is the header portion. So in header portion we just do the same thing we did in the login screen header portion. So let me tell you again all these things. Like this is coming from start date, this is from start time, this is from star user function, this is the output field where we have assigned the name as s1 prog name, and these are the normal verbiages or text. Okay, so this is the header information. Now let's see how we can design this kind of thing. So for that you can do one trick, like just write code and put some X spaces, as many as you want, and then close it and just simply hit enter. So once you hit enter, it will create one space line, but it is not visible to us. So what we will do, we will put asterisk, then go for display attributes. From here you can select the reverse image by taking Y, and if you want to change the color, then you can simply go and change the color as well. So let's say I want to make it as red. So this is how we will design this line. So here what we are doing, we are creating one blank line, like from here to here, and then we change the color. Here we are not changing the color, it is by default, but if you want to change, you can change as well. And once this line is created, then you can simply copy the same to the bottom. So I'm taking hyphen. Wherever you want to paste, just put double equals to it, so it will be copied. Okay, so likewise we have design these two lines. Now below to that, what we are doing, we are just keeping this one normal verbiage or text, type options, press enter. So inside the code you can directly write it like in this way, right? We saw that how to write the text. So in this way you can write. Then we can design these three things, like whatever the text you want to give, just keep it here and change the color. Then select option. Here we are declaring one input field. The name of the field is S1 OPT, which we will use to take options from the user. Then again this line is copied as we created here. In same manner you can create here as well. Now this is the output field for error message. So name is S1 ERR MSG. Okay, so like we have already discussed how to declare the fields, input field, output field, and both field, right? So in same manner you can create this one also, and this is the normal text for indicating the user that he can take option F3 for taking exit. So this is all about this screen. Now we will set one indicator. So just take option 8, go for indicators, and as usual we are taking option CF03 for exit purpose. Okay, then once it is added, simply hit enter, compile your display file, compile your program, and call it. So now whenever I'm putting wrong credential, it will give error, but if I'm providing a correct credential with customer type, then it will show the dashboard like this. Okay, so this is how we can create the customer dashboard. Now in upcoming portion, what we will discuss, we will firstly discuss how to design the vendor portion, and after vendor portion we will see the logic through which we are deciding like how to display the vendor or customer portion. Although we know that we just displayed that one string, right, welcome customer and welcome vendor. So in place of that string or that command, we are just showing these windows or records. Okay, so yeah, that's the main thing that we are going to cover in this portion. Now we will discuss the vendor screen, and after that we will see the program logic where we are using these two dashboard. Okay, so far we have discussed how to design the customer dashboard, right? Now we will discuss the vendor dashboard. So first of all, I will show you the output, and then we will see how we can design the screen for vendor dashboard. So I'm calling this program. So here if I put ID for the vendor, then it will open a vendor dashboard for us. So let me show you. So this is the vendor dashboard. Okay, there are a few changes in it, like we have changed the options, right? Format is almost same, but options are different. So let me show you in edit mode. So I'm taking the display file in edit mode, and here let me close it in my another session. It is already open, so I'm closing it from here. Yes, so now I will take option 17 again, and this is the VEND underscore DASHB, which is vendor dashboard. So I'm taking option 12. Now here you can see that header information is same as we defined in the customer dashboard. Okay, so here we are getting this value by star user, this is from star date, this is from star time, and other are normal text. And this is the output field where we have assigned some name to it, which is S1 program. Okay, so this is for the program name. Then this line I told you like how to design this. Firstly you can put some spaces in the quotes, then put asterisk, and here from display attribute you can select the reverse image as Y, so it will become like this. Similarly, if you want to copy it somewhere else, then put hyphen, and wherever you want to paste it, just write double equals, so it will be pasted. Okay, so this is how we can design these lines. This is just for the visual purpose. Okay, now this is the verbiage for user, like type option. So this kind of thing you can write in this way, type, and to change the color you can put C and overlap the first character with B and hit enter, where B is for blue, so it will look like this. Okay, so this is how it works. Now these are the options that we have changed in vendor dashboard. Like the first option is for generate quotation, second one is for generate receipt, and third one is for dispatch product. So this is how we can design these options. So what you need to do, you just write single quote, whatever the option you want to give, just put their description, close the quote, and for changing the color you can write C and overlap the first character with W. W is for white, and hit enter, so it will be changed. Okay, so this, in this way we design these three options. Then this is normal text option, and we have set the option as I, means this is the input field for taking the option, and the name is S1 OPT. This is the same line we have copied from the top line, and now this is the output message field where we will keep the error messages. So this is mentioned as S1 error MSG, and this is normal text for showing the user that he can take F3 for exit. Now screen designing is complete. Now I'm taking F12 and we'll set the indicator, which is CS03 for exit, and then simply hit enter and compile the display file. After compiling display file, you can compile your program and then call. So here you can see that now I'm inserting my vendor dashboard key, so it will show me this kind of dashboard. Okay, so we have discussed the customer dashboard as well as the vendor dashboard. So now wherever in the program logic we are writing that display welcome customer and welcome vendor, in place of those text we will replace these two dashboard. Okay, so now I will show you one more thing here. Like if I log in with customer dashboard, so as we have provided many options to the customer, like 3 options and quotation. So if user take option 1 here for select option, it will be populated this screen. It will populate this screen, which is for generating for sending the quotation request. Okay, here where this quotation number is auto incremented, here user can select the product name, quantity and delivery type. So this thing we will see one by one. Like firstly I will, like we are done with the dashboard designing. Now we will see this screen, and then these three screens together in we will use inside the program logic. Okay, and once this customer dashboard first option is completed, then we will move to the further options. Okay, so now we will see how to design the screen for the first option of customer dashboard. So let me show you by calling it first, and then we will go to the designing part. So I'm calling this program with the customer ID and password. So I'm just inserting my credential here and hitting enter. Now on this screen, this thing we have already discussed, like how to design this customer dashboard. Now we are talking about this first option. So whenever user take option 1 here, it will take him to that particular screen where he can raise the request for the quotation. So let's see how to design this. So here what we are doing, we are populating one auto incremented quotation number. So whenever the user insert any quotation request, it will auto increment it by 1, and for the next quotation request it will show the quotation number incremented value. Then user can select the product name, like whether he wants to raise a request for laptop, desktop or mobile. Similarly, he can insert the value for quantity and select the delivery type as urgent or regular. So let's see how to design this thing. So I'm taking option 17 on display file. Now here we have added one record as cust underscore dash1. So I'm taking option 12 here. So as we did for the last few records, we will keep the header information in same way. So these values are coming from functions, and other one is normal text. Now this is the normal line. We see in previous thing like how to design this normal line. The new thing is this dotted line. So how to create that? For that you can put some spaces, then hit enter and put asterisk, and after asterisk you can go for the display attributes, and from here you can select the CS, which is for column separator, and then hit enter. So it will create a dotted line for you. Okay, for now we are not going to use this one, so I'm deleting it. So in this same manner I have created this one. Fine. Now we will see what all fields we have declared here. So first verbiage is for quotation number. So how we have added this? Simply just write whatever you want to show, then some dot means full stop, or you can say after that you can put your colon and then just close it. Change the color to white So it is like this. So in same manner we have added these four verbiages. Now see what all fields we have declared. In field, first field we have declared is as output field for quotation number. So the name we have assigned to it is s1 quote num, which is quotation num. Length is 10 and it is of output mode. Now this space you can leave as blank because this radio button we will directly add into the source by taking option 2 for the display file. So just keep it as blank, and similarly this thing also you can keep blank. And below, in between these two fields we are declaring one both mode field for product quantity. So I'm taking question mark here. So here we have specified the name as s1 product quantity. Okay. So how to identify the position for this particular radio button, like where you want to see the radio button. So whatever the position you want to see, just note that position and rest keep the blank. So here this position is 1426. Similarly, if we go for this position, this is 1826. You can see here 14 and 18, right? So once you got the position, now what we will do, we will take option 2 on the display file in source mode, and then there we will pass the we will do the declaration for these radio button. Now this is normal line and this is the output field for message. We have assigned the name as s1 error message, and then text as f3 for exit. After designing the screen, just press F12, set the indicator as CF03 for exit. So CF03 as keyword, response is 03 and text is exit. Then simply hit enter and compile your display file after saving it. So it is compiled now. Now we will add those radio button. So for adding the radio button, you can take option 2 again on the display file, but this time we are taking 2. Then go and directly search for the record that you have added. So we have added cust underscore dash 1. So this is the record, right? So just find for the CF03 means the indicator which we have declared using option 17, and just below to that we can declare the radio button. It is up to you, like you can declare anywhere in as per your requirement, but usually I go for this approach, like I search for the indicator and then I design it. Okay. So for adding the radio button, you can directly insert one line, blank line, and then simply write A at this position and then press F4. Now here you can use firstly you can specify the field name for which you are declaring the radio button. So I have specified it as S1 product. Then you can pass the length. So length is 2, data type is Y, decimal position is 0, use is B, line is 1426. So this is the position where we want to show the radio button. And then we can use the function which is sngchcfld, which is single choice field, and as a parameter you can pass this star number as 1. It means all the radio button will come under a one row. Okay. If you have any doubt in any of the field, then you can take F1 for help on that particular field. It will provide you all the description, like for what data type we can use. Okay, so from here you can find, and like if you want to see what is this use, so just press F1. Here you will find all the possible values that we can pass here. Okay, one more thing, make sure that you are not assigning any numeric value from left hand side, so all values should be assigned from right hand side, otherwise it will give error. Then simply hit enter. Here we are using one function for setting the reverse image. This you can also take option 17 and you can assign there, but if you want to write inside this source only, then you can write in this way: dsp atr ri, which is for reverse image, and set one indicator to it. We are assigning 90. Then hit enter, and in next line you can use this function choice for specifying the choice. So inside parentheses I am passing 1. In quote we are passing this angular bracket along with the text laptop. So in this way you can assign the choice. Now go for the next choice, which is 2 for desktop and 3 is for mobile. After that you can press F12. So mainly you can see that these 4 line is creating the radio button. So just add these 4 lines, 4 or 5 lines, and then your radio button will be added to the field. In the same manner, we have added the another radio button which is for delivery type. So you can see the same thing we are doing here also, just the field names are changed. Here this time we are using S1 del type, which is for delivery type. Rest all things are almost same, just the position is got changed and values also. Okay, so after adding these things, your radio button is ready to use. So just go and compile your display file and then compile your program, because in program we are using that, and then you can see that everything is added. And how to populate this screen and what all logic we are adding here, this thing we will discuss in at the time of discussing the program logic. So mainly we have discussed this screen, like how to design this screen. Now whenever you are user selecting any data, let's say I'm selecting data, okay, and then if I am hitting enter, so it inserted the record. It means record is added. So where it is getting added, what all validation, if I do enter on the blank field, then it will give the message product name cannot be blank. Then how these validation are performing, what we are going to use for storing the data that we are sending from this screen. So this thing we will discuss now, because we have just discussed about the dashboard, customer dashboard first option. Now we will discuss about the PF structure, PF data, and then we will go for the logic. Okay, so now we will discuss the structure of physical file that we are going to use for storing the order detail. Okay, so let me call the program and show you how we are inserting the data, and then we'll see the structure of physical file where we are storing that particular data. So I'm logging with my customer ID, and then I'm putting my password. From here I'm selecting option 1 for send quotation request, and here we can select any of the product from the product name. So let's say I want to purchase laptop, and the quantity I want to go for is 20, and delivery I want on urgent basis. So after providing all those information, I am hitting enter, so it is added. You can see now the quotation number is changed. So if I do F3, so this is the physical file where my record is getting inserted. So let's do the run query on this PF. So I'm writing RQ, then hitting enter again. So you can see that this record is added 11.1, where 11 is quotation number, product ID is 1, product name is laptop, product quantity is 20, delivery type is 1. So this is how we are inserting the record into physical file. So let's see how this physical file we are declaring. So in same manner, like in while creating the physical file for login, like login file, we see how to add the member for physical file. So in same manner you can add for order PF, and then take option 2 here, and firstly we will specify the record format name. So just take F4, and in this name type you can use R for record format, and name could be order PFR. So order P is my file name and R is suffix as a record format name. Then hit enter. Next next we are declaring the fields. So just for the simplification purpose, I keep O underscore as a prefix for the fields that is belong from the order P file. So my first field name is O quote num, where length is 10, data type is S, decimal position is 0, column heading is quotation number. So this is the heading that we are getting on the file as a column header. Then second field is O prod ID, length 4, data type S, decimal position 0, column heading product ID. Then prod name, product quantity, delivery type. So if you have any doubt on any of the field, then you can simply press F1, place your cursor and then press F1. So it will show you the detail of all the possible values that we can pass on that particular field. Okay, and next thing you can take care of is whenever you are assigning any numeric value, it should be assigned from the right hand side only. Okay, then hitting enter. So after declaring all field, we are assigning one key field for accessing the data uniquely for that particular field. So my key field name is REQ quote number. So I'm making this quote number as a key field for my physical file. So just keep the name type as K. So make sure that after writing all those fields, it should be aligned like this only, because this is the correct position for each and everything that we have specified. And once it is like, if you are taking a F4 and you are assigning there, then it is fine. It will directly arrange all the things. But if you are writing it manually, then it should be at the same position where we are writing the things. Okay. So after writing all these things, you can do save and exit by file, and you can compile your physical file. Right now I'm not compiling it because I have stored some data in it, and if I compile, then it will remove all the data from the file. So just for that purpose I'm not compiling it, but for the first time when you are creating the file, you have to compile it, and once you compile it, it will be added to your system. Now you can, like, once record is added, then you can write a logic for inserting the data, or you can test by updata command also. And for seeing the data, either you can go for strSQL and you can use the command select star from your file name. Otherwise you can go with RQ, which is for run query. So hit enter again, and it will show you all the data that you have stored in the file. So this is the column heading that was specified using the column heading function. Okay, so we just discussed how to design the structure of the physical file that we are going to use for storing the data related to the quotation. Now we will see the logic, how we can write a logic for implementing all those things that we have designed so far. Okay, so now we will see how we can use those screens that we have designed, like customer dashboard, vendor dashboard, and the option one for customer dashboard inside the rpgle program. Okay, so I will take this program in edit mode, and then we will see how we have replaced the command display welcome vendor and welcome customer. So before we discuss that, let me show you some changes that I did in this program. First one is this physical file. We have added one more physical file, which is order p, and we have declared it here with all the required uses like star input, output, and update. And this is a keyed file, and below to that we have also added few variables that we are going to use for validation purpose. So you can see that these new variables has been added, like w underscore quote num, w product name, validata. Okay, few of the variable is of type means are just for the flag variable, like we will use only for some decision making thing. Now let me take you to that portion where we are going to change the logic. So if you remember, at the time of when we were discussing about the login screen logic, then at this place we are just printing the message welcome customer or welcome vendor. So now in that place we are going to add another logic. So if user type is C, then in place of printing welcome customer, we are adding this logic. Okay, and if the user type is V, then we are using this logic, else we are just printing the message login field. So let's see what all logic we have added for customer dashboard. So if the user type is C, then we are running one loop till the in03 is off, and then we are doing the exfmt on cust dashboard, which is the customer dashboard. So this screen will get populated. After that we are doing select when condition for checking the option, like when s1 opt is 1. So if user has selected selected option 1, then we will go for the routine show opt 1. Okay, or we can make it as a show vendor opt 1. Okay, so that it will be clear to all of you, like what value we are going to. Let me change it on the routine as well. Not vendor, it's a customers. Show cust opt1. So this is not a vendor, this is for customer. Similarly we will add for the vendor as well later. Okay, so we have added this routine. Now if option 1 has been selected, then we will show this we will execute this routine show cust opt1. Otherwise we will go for the next condition. So if option is 2, then for now we kept as a blank, because step by step we will add logic here also, and same for the S1 OPT3. If user has selected for 3, then we will perform some other things. And if these 3 conditions are false, then in other we will just give one message, invalid option. So let's see what we are doing here in show customer OPT1. So I'm searching it for. So here we are firstly clearing the message field, which is S1 error message, because for the very first time when user lands to the page, it should not come up with some error. So we are just clearing it. After that, we are running one more loop till IN03 is off, and inside that we are generating one auto incremented quotation number. So let's see what is this, what we are doing here. Yes, so here in this written, what we are doing, we are just generating the auto incremented quotation number. So whenever the user log into the screen, means selected for option 1, then it should populated with some auto incremented quotation number. So for that, what we are doing, we are just doing the settle on high val, means the highest value of the physical file, and then we are using a read p for reading the previous record, because we are setting the pointer to highest value. So in order to read one record from it, we are just going one step back, and then whatever the output we are getting, means whatever the record or quotation number we are getting, we are just incrementing it with 1. Okay, and then we are storing it inside the work field or work field program variable. So whatever the variable we are starting with w underscore, it is the work field, and then we are assigning the incremented value to it, and after that we are just populating it to screen field. So S1 field is screen field. So this is our numeric value, so we are just converting it to character to make it equivalent to the file field. So it will generate a auto incremented quotation number. After that, we are just displaying the customer dashboard OPT1, means the option 1 dash 1. So what it will do, firstly we are generating the auto incremented quotation number, then we are displaying it on screen, and after that, whenever user providing any data to that screen, we are verifying that data. So let's see what we are doing in that routine. So here firstly we are doing the select when again for checking some condition or for basic validation. Like here we are checking S1 product is *0. If it is *0, then we are resetting the indicator. So let's see what we are doing in reset indicator. So if I search it here, so here we are just clearing 3 indicator, which is 90, 91 and 92. These variable we are using for the reverse image purpose. Okay, you can also add the position cursor if needed, but for now we are just going with it. Then if after clearing the after resetting the indicator, we are giving the one message, product name cannot be blank, because it is all 0, it is blank. So we will just give product name cannot be blank, and then we are checking then we are turning on the indicator 90 on. So there might be one question from you guys, like why we are checking product name field with zeros, because we are using a radio button over there. So in radio button we are just selecting one field, so it is assigned with some number, so that's why we are just checking. If it is 0, then we are giving the message that product name cannot be blank, and then we are turning on the indicator 90 for reverse image. Likewise, we are checking for the other field, which is S1 prod quantity. If it is 0, again resetting all the previous set indicators, generating the message quantity cannot be blank, and turning on the indicator 91. Similarly, we will check for delivery type. If it is 0, we are executing a reset indicator again, and we are populating the message delivery type cannot be blank, and turning on the indicator 92. If all these conditions are false, then we are going into other condition, where, because if there is no error, then we are just setting the w underscore valid data flag as y, because now the data is valid, and then we are executing the reset indicator to reset all the indicators, and then we are clearing the error message, because this time there is no error, so we will just clear it out. After this basic validation, we are checking for the product name, because we are using radio button, so it's our duty to assign some name to it. So what we are doing, we are just checking if S1 product is 1, then we are assigning the name as product name as laptop. If it is 2, then we are assigning as desktop, otherwise we are assigning it as mobile. So we are done with the validation, and then we have also populated the proper values. Now it's time to write the data in file. So before that, before writing the data to file, we are just checking if the data is valid or not. If it is valid, the thing we have already set in the after the inside this logic, right? So this thing we will verify here. If the valid data is y, it means the data is valid. Then we are just assigning the fields. We are just assigning the fields to file. So whatever the fields coming with o underscore, started with o underscore, is a file field, and then we are assigning these value to the file fields. And after that we are using a write opcode to write the data inside the file. Here we are supposed to pass the record format name. So order p is my file name, and after r we are using as a record format name. And then we are resetting the customer dashboard 1, which is a record for the screen. So it will clear all the fields from the screen, and then we are clearing the w underscore valid data, because next time it should go again for checking all the condition, and then it should select the data valid data as y or no as per the requirement. Fine. So let's go back to the routine where from where we are here. So we just check for verify data, and this is the show customer opt1. So let me take you back to this. Yes, so this thing is completed because in this, only in this condition, once S1 OPT is 1, we are checking for all those required validation and perform basic validation, and then we are writing the data as per the requirement. Similarly, when we are going to design screen for OPT2, we will add our logic here, for 3 here. Okay, so this is all about customer part. Now, if the user type is not C, it is V, then what we are doing, we are just checking if the user type is V, then we are running one more loop till the IN03 is off, and then we are just displaying the window, means the screen, using exfmt vendor dashboard. And later, what we will do, we will check for these options also, like what option vendor is taking on the screen. So step by step we will add logic for that also. Okay, and then if other than C or V is entered, then we will consider it as a login field, and we are just setting the star INR equals to star on. So this is all about the logic that we have created so far for the dashboard and customer vendor, as well as for customer vendor dashboard, customer dashboard, and vendor dashboard, as well as for the customer dashboard option 1. So let me compile this again and call this. So if I put my customer ID, then it will open my customer cache. It will open the customer dashboard for us. And if we provide any wrong data, then it will give invalid option. If I taking option 1, then it will take me to the send quotation request. From here I can select any of the product. I can put any quantity, as well as I can select the delivery type and then hit enter. So it has incremented, it means the record is added. So if I do page down, and if I check my data in my file using run query rq, then it is added. Okay, so this is how the logic is working. Similarly, if I put my means my vendor dashboard ID or vendor ID, then in that case it should show the vendor screen only. So it is showing that. Okay, so and here we are not giving any F12 button for going back to the login screen, because I just want to make it as like if vendor is done with his program, his functionality, then he can directly exit from the system. But as per your requirement, you can also add that thing. So whenever user press F12, it will take to the back login screen. But for now, we are just terminating this window. So we just discuss how to use means how to populate customer dashboard, vendor dashboard, as well as we see the logic for for performing the option 1 from the customer dashboard. So now step by step we will check for the other functionality. Okay. Okay, so far we have discussed how to design customer option one screen and how to write a logic for option one of for customer dashboard. Now we will start with the vendor dashboard option one. Okay, so before we start designing part, let me show you the let me call the program first, and I will show you the screen, and then we will start discussing on the screen designing. So I'm calling the program directly. Here I'm using my request means my customer ID for sending the request. So I'm using this ID, which is 1234567 This is customer ID, and now I will put my password here. Let me enter it again. Yes, so now this customer screen is open, customer dashboard. From here we saw that how this option one works. So I'm taking option one here, and this time I'm sending request for my product mobile, and where I want to purchase it for 400 pieces and regular 40, and I want to go for urgent delivery. So if I hit enter, my request is added. Now this request will be approved or declined by the vendor. So let me go back, and now I will open it as a vendor. I will put my credential over there. Now from here we can take option one for generate quotation. It means from this screen the user will decide whether he wants to approve that request or deny. So I'm taking option one. So once I take option one, it will open this kind of screen, which is a subfile. So in this portion, we are going to discuss only about this portion, means this entire subfile, how we are designing it, what all things we need to take care of, right? So from here from this screen, what we can do, suppose like we have just added one request. So it by default comes with a status as P. So this thing we have added in our order pf file, which was not previously there. So just for this decision making, we have modified the pf and we have added this status, which is order status. Now whenever we are sending quotation request, it comes and store it as a p, which is pending. Now if I'm the vendor, I will decide whether I want to approve it or not. So I will go for option one for the approval. So if I press 1, it will show it is approved, set to the A. Similarly, if I want to make it as D, means declined, so I will take option 2. It will go and it will set it as a D. So this is how this screen works. So firstly, we will discuss the designing part of this screen, and then we will go for the logic. So let me show you the display file. So directly taking option 17 over there. Now to add the subfile, here we are using load all subfile. So this is the two record that we need for load all subfile. So what we can do, firstly we can go take option 1. Here we can put your subfile name, let's say test SFL, then hit enter. Here you have to select the type as SFL, then hit enter again, and you can put the test SFL CTL. So this is for control record. So this is my subfile buffer name, and this is my control portion name. Now you can hit enter. By default you can give enter on these two things. So after that you will see that these two record is added, test SFL and test SFL CTL. So I'm deleting it for now because we are not going to use this one we have already created. So we will use that, which is vend SFL and vend SFL CTL. So first thing we need to do here is we need to set some indicators. So just take option 8 on control portion where it is mentioned SFL control. Just take option 8, and then you can go for all option set as Y and hit enter. So this thing will come automatically. You need to set these parameters, which is 90, 91, 92, 93. In same order you can pass the indicators. These indicators we are going to use while writing the logic, because for load all subfile we need to use these indicator for clearing, for displaying the subfile, and make sure to set it as Y DSPCTL, and then simply hit enter. On second screen you need to pass this SFL size, which is the maximum tetra 9, and per page record we have set as 10. Then hit enter. Here we will keep it as it is. Hit enter again. From here you can go for option indicators keyword and set it as CF03 for exit, CF012 for exit. Sorry, CF12 for cancel and CF3 for exit. Then simply hit enter. So we are done with the indicators and parameters, right? Now we will design the thing. So firstly we will design the control portion, which means header portion. So this is also a kind of subfile, right? This thing like you can see this is the header portion and this is the buffer portion. So this is also a subfile and this is the footer portion. So same thing we are going to design. So firstly we will go for control. So take option 12. This portion comes as a control, which is static one. So we have just keep the header information as we did in previous screens. So just this is the normal text, this thing is coming from start date, this is from start time, this is from star user, and this is the output field for program name. So we just kept it as a s1 program. Now this is also a normal text. What you can do, you can just write some text here and just change the color, just change its color to blue. Let me add it again. Yeah, so it is changed to blue. Now I am deleting it because we are not going to use this one. So in same manner I have kept this text type options press enter. One is for approved and two is for declined. Similarly you can keep the header of your fields, like what all fields you want to show, just keep the header like opt, quote number, product ID, product name, product quantity, delivery type, and status. So after writing this, we are done with the control portion. Just take F12. This thing we are going to add in SFL buffer portion. So till here we will write the thing in control portion, and then we will take up option 12. Now go for SFL part, take option 12 there. So this is the buffer portion. Here you can add the fields as per your requirement. We have, you know that we have set the per page record as 10. So whenever you are going to write any field, let's say I want to include one input field of size 1, so I will pass it like this and hit enter. So it will add 10, it will add for 10 records per page. It will show 10 records. Okay, so in same manner if you want to reallocate it, like if you want to shift it to right, you can use a right angular bracket, you can use left angular bracket. Okay, so in same manner we have added other fields. Now I'm deleting this field because we are not going to use this one. And likewise we have added other fields, like here you can see to length text field is input field is added, where the name we have set as sf1 sfl opt. This field we have assigned the name as sfl quote num. So in same manner you have to just put your question mark on the placeholder location and just set the name sfl prod id, sfl prod name, nme, right? And then sfl prod quantity, delivery type, and status. So in this way you can add your fields, like wherever you want to go for input field, take option I, and when you want to show for output field, just go with O, and 6 is for numeric output field. Okay, so in this way you can just define this. So here we have only one input field, rest all are just for the display purpose. Once it is added, you can take F12, then just add one more blank record for footer, and the type will be the record only. So here you can take option 12 and just put your footer information like F12 equals to cancel. Then press F12. Here you can take option 8 for setting the overlay keyword. So I'm setting option Y here and set the overlay keyword as Y, which is overlay as yes. Okay, and after that just hit enter. We are done with the designing. What we do, we just added three things. First one is the SFL control, SFL, like once you add the SFL, it will automatically ask for the SFL control name. So these two record will get added automatically. And another thing you need to add is footer. Whatever the information is static, means the upper portion or header information you will keep in the control portion, and remaining information we will keep inside the SFL part or buffer portion, like fields, whatever the output field, input field, right? Then you can set once the record is added, you can set the indicator. So just go for option 8 and whatever. Let me relog in it. So after that you can just directly go and you can set the indicators, and once indicator is added, then you can simply go and like we are done with the indicators, we have designed the screen, everything is done. So then just go and compile your file like this, means the display file, and just compile your program also. And once it is compiled, then you can simply use your subfile inside the program. For that we need to write some logic. So logic we will discuss in next portion, like how we are writing a logic for how we are loading data into it, what all information we are storing it, right? So this thing we will discuss, right? And we have also modified the physical file for order P. So we just added one field here, which is order status, which was previously not there, right? So this we are adding for maintaining the status of the physical file. So what you can do, if you have already stored some data, in that case you can use the chgpf command in order to, like, firstly take option 2, add your physical file field, and then write chgpf, then pass library name and the file name order P. So it will change your PF. So there is no need to compile the physical file. Otherwise it will lose your data. But if you haven't stored any data, then in that case you can directly modify your file and just compile it. So this is the file changes that we did, and now we just discussed the designing part of the subfile or the generate quotation screen. Now we will discuss about the logic. Okay, so far we have discussed how to design screen for the vendor dashboard option 1, right? Now we will see the logic, how to utilize those subfiles that we have designed in the display file into the program. So in order to explain the same, I'm taking this program in edit mode, and we'll see what all changes we have made here. So first thing we changed here is display file declaration. So you can see that as we are going to use the subfile now, so we have added this keyword as file vendor sfl. This is my subfile record format name. And then we have also passed one parameter as rrn. So this parameter is for the rrn, like whenever we are going to load the data into the subfile, in that case we will increment this value so that it will write next record of the subfile. So this variable you need to declare in the program as well. So I'm declaring it as tcls rrn zone 4 decimal. Okay, now this thing, after that we are going to directly see the logic where we are using this thing. Yeah, so we have seen till this, like we have saw that if the user type is C, means the customer, then we are performing one then we are just displaying the customer dashboard. And when the customer dashboard, if user has taken option 1, then we are going to implement the logic for the generate for sending the quotation request, right? So that logic we have already discussed. Now we are going to discuss the second thing, which is the first option of vendor dashboard. So let's see how we are doing it. So if user type is V, means vendor, then we are running one loop till in03 is off, and then we are doing the exfmt on vendor dashboard. If user has pressed option F12, then it will simply go reset the indicator and simply leave the routine, because F12 is for cancel. Otherwise it will check for the option. So if S1 option, which is subfile option, is 1, then we will perform these three things. So basically here we are utilizing that subfile that we designed. So let's see what we are doing. And for now we just kept option 2 and option 3 as blank, because step by step we will go and implement logic for it. But for now we are just going to discuss only about the S1 OPT if 1. So let's see what we are doing in this routine. So I'm directly going to that. So this routine is just for clearing the subfile. So what we are doing here, we are just setting the RRN as 0, because for the very first time it should be on 0. Then we are turning on the indicator 91. So if you remember, at the time of subfile declaration we set few variables, few indicators. Let me show you this again. INVMNG sys. So this is my second terminal. Here I will show you the indicator that we have. Yeah, so on control portion, if I took option 8, if I take option 8, then I will go for the in keywords. So these are the indicator that we saw previously, right? So here we are you can see that we are turning on 91 indicator, which is for SFL clear. So here we are clearing the subfile, then we are writing the subfile control portion, and then we are again turning it off, 91 indicator. Okay, so this routine will clear the subfile and then we are good to load the data. Now for loading the data we are using this routine, which is load subfile. So let's see what we are doing here. So initially we are just directly setting the pointer to the lowest value of the file, order P. Then we are reading the first record till the, like we will read the record till the end of file is reached. Then inside loop what we are doing, we are just incrementing rn with 1, because for the very first time it would be like 0, so it will become 0 plus 1 1, and then we are assigning the file field value to the subfile fields one by one. So the values which is started with SFL is subfile field, and which is started with o underscore is for file field. So this quotation number is a numeric value. So what we are doing, we are just converting it to character and then we are assigning it to the subfile field. Likewise, we are assigning product ID, product name, product quantity, delivery type, and status. Okay. Post that, what we are doing, we are just checking for RRN. If RRN is greater than tetra 9, it means maximum limit is reached, then we are just leaving the loop. Otherwise, we are writing the subfile buffer. So this is subfile buffer. And then we are reading the next record. So one by one it will go and it will write the all records from the physical file to subfile. And few things we are also check here, like if file reaches to end of file in order P, then we will turn on the indicator 90. So let's see what is indicator 90. It is for SFL end, so it will indicate that yes, SFL end has occurred. Okay, otherwise we will keep it as off. So this is all about the load subfile. So let's see the third routine. So for dashboard option 1, vendor dashboard 1, we are going to run these three. So 2 we have already covered. Now we will see the third one, which is display subfile. So let's see what we are doing here. This routine is for displaying the record on subfile. So firstly we are turning on two indicators, 92 and 93. Let's see what are these two indicators. 92 is for SFL DSP and 93 is for SFL DSP CTL. Okay. Now after that we are just checking if RRN is 0, it means there is no record to display. Then we are just turning off the display indicator, which is 92. So you can see 92 is display indicator. Because record is not there, then we will make it off, otherwise it will give error. Then we are running one loop till the IN03 is off, and then we are resetting these indicator IN06 and IN05. Post that we are assigning the name to the program. So these indicators, wherever it is required, you can just do reset, because this thing you will only understand when you are doing debugging on your program. So wherever it is required, then you can reset those indicator. Okay. Then we are assigning the name, program name, to the S1 proc field, which is the screen field, and then we are writing the footer. After writing the footer, we are just doing the exfmt on control portion, vendor SFL CTL, and then we are doing the readc. So why we are doing readc? Readc is for reading the changed record, which means our readc means read changed on SFL. So this is my subfile record, right? If in between, if user has pressed F12, then it will simply reset the indicator and leave the routine. Otherwise it will check if change record, like when we are doing read C, then if S1 SFL OPT is 1 or 01, then we will reset the indicator first, means this OPT field, and then we are assigning this code number, SFL code number, to the W underscore code number. So this is the character field, then we are assigning it, we are converting it to decimal, and then we are assigning it to our variable W underscore code number. Now with this variable we are going to do chain on the file, and after doing change we are just setting the order status as A, because user has selected 1 is for approved. So we are just setting indicator as A, approved, and then we are updating the file, which is order PR, and then we are updating the subfile. Okay. Similarly, if you want to go for if user has taken option 2 or 02, then in that case we will do the same thing, just we will change the status as D for declined. Okay. And once these two option is done, then in that case we are just reloading the subfile again. We are just clearing the subfile again, and we are reloading the data to it. Okay, so in this way you can just simply reload the data so that the user can see the recent changes. So I'm calling it again. So I'm opening it with option 1. So these are the things. So if suppose this is the pending record, you can see that record is status is pending. So if I want to go for 1, so when we write 1 here and hit enter, so it will read this record, change the record, and then it will do the change using this quote number, and accordingly it will go and decide whether we want to approve it or decline it. So if I go and hit enter on 1, so it is approved. Okay, likewise if I want to change it to decline, so I will take option 2 and hit enter, so it will be declined. So in this way you can perform this logic for the vendor dashboard option 1 to implement the subfile and to decide whether vendor wants to approve the request or decline the request. Okay, so now we will discuss the screen designing for vendor dashboard option 2. Okay, so firstly I will show you the output and then we will discuss the screen designing. So I'm calling this program, and here I'm passing the credential for vendor. So this option we have already seen in previous portion, like how to design the screen, how to load data and perform this approved and decline option. So I'm taking option 12 from here, and once the vendor decided whether the order needs to be approved or declined, after that we will take the option 2 for this for generating the receipt. So this is the screen that we are going to discuss now. Okay, so what process we are going to do here, like whenever user take insert any quotation number here, so it will check if it is approved. In that case it will ask for the per unit price and delivery charges. So here vendor can input these values, and then he can just simply hit enter to generate the receipt. Okay, operation we will see once we are good with the screen designing. After that we will discuss it, but for now we are just focusing on this screen designing portion. So let me take you to the display file and I will show you the how to design this screen. So here I am taking option 17 on display file, and this is my record that I have added for vendor dashboard 2. So I'm taking option 12 here. So let's see what all thing we are doing here. So firstly we are designing the normal header information. So as we already know, like these values are coming from function like start date, start time and start user, and this is the output field we have designed for storing the program name, S1 prog name, and this is the normal text with some different color, and yellow color automatically comes with the column separator, so that's why it is coming like this. Now this line we create in the same way we did for the previous screens. We just created one empty line and just add the reverse image to it. Then this is the normal text, generate receipt and column separator line. After that we kept these verbiages like product ID, product quantity, quotation number, per unit price, product name, delivery type, status and delivery charges. Okay, so let's see what all things we are doing here, means what all fields we have created. So these are some output fields, and these are the both field, right? So let's see one by one the name. So as we are in option 2 for vendor, so I keep v2 as a prefix for all fields. So this is v2 prod id, this is v2 prod qty means quantity, and this is for prod v2 v2 prod name. So likewise we have decided all the field name. Okay, then this is the out message which we are going to use as S1 ERR message, and this is the normal verbiage for function keys, which is F3 and F12. Now I'm taking F12, and let me show you the indicators that we are using here. So taking option 8 here. Now we'll go to the indicators. In indicators we are using CF03 and CF012, where CF03 is for exit and CF012 is for cancel. So this is all about the designing. Now it's time to compile the display file as well as the program. After compiling program, you will be able to see your screen but before that we need to write logic that we are going to discuss next portion, how to write a logic for this thing. Okay. Okay, so now before discussing the logic for vendor option 2, let me show you the physical file structure that we are going to use for our data purpose. Like we are going to store the data into this physical file. So I have created another physical file in same way we created the order P. So this time we are creating the pay detail file, which is for payment details. Okay, or you can say like once we are done with the order, then it will all those information we are going to store here. So let me show you the structure here. So I'm taking option 2. So what you need to do, you just press F4 on the blank line, one blank line, because for the initial time you will see the entire file is blank. So just press F4. Then here I'm using function unique, which will allow me to means it will restrict the user to not insert any duplicate value in the key. So as per the key, it will check if the record is duplicate, then it will give the error, otherwise it will accept it. So this is the file level keyword we are using, unique. After that I'm hitting enter. So on next line you need to pass name type as R and name as pay detail R, where R indicate record format. Okay, so here we are just deciding the record format name. Now I am hitting enter again. So this is the first field we are going to declare. So you can see that we are using p underscore as a prefix for each field inside the pay detail table, so that whenever we are going to read this inside the program, it will be clear that okay, this field is coming from that particular file. Okay, so first field is quotation number, and make sure that whatever the value you are assigning for numeric, you have to assign it from right hand side, otherwise it will give error. So data type I'm using S, decimal position is 0, and column heading is quotation number. Similarly, I'm declaring other fields like p underscore prod id, prod name, prod quantity, delivery type, per unit price, delivery charge, final price, address, and quotation number as a key. Okay, so here I'm using k as k to indicate that this is my quotation number field, or I'm going to make it as a key field. So k is representing the key field. So once this structure is ready, then you are good to compile this. Right now I'm not compiling it because I have some data in it, but later you can compile like okay, I will show you how to compile it. So I'm just trying to compile it. So it is compiled, so you will get the message that file is compiled, and then you are good to use this physical file inside your program. So after we are done with this physical file structure, now we will discuss the logic for vendor dashboard option 2. Okay, so now we will discuss the vendor to option logic. So in order to explain the same, I'm taking the program in edit mode, and firstly I will show you the changes that we did in existing code, and then we'll see the second option. So I just added this physical file which is pay detail, and we just saw the structure for this pf, so we are just declaring it here using dclf. Then this is my file name, and this is the keyword for file disk. In users we have passes star input, star output, star update, and this is a keyed file. Okay, now we will discuss the logic. So till here we have completed option 1, right? So till option 1 we are already discussed. Now we are going to discuss about this S1 OPT2. So what we are doing here firstly we are clearing the vendor dashboard 2 screen using clear opcode. After that we are running one loop till the in03 is off. Okay, post that what we are doing, we are just assigning the name to the S1 prog name field, which is display file field. So I'm just hard coding it with invmngcsr program name. Then we are doing exfmt on vendor dashboard 2 screen. After that we are just resetting the error message, so that if there is any error on the screen, so after displaying it, it will be cleared automatically. Then we are checking if in012 is on or off. If it is on, it means user has pressed F12 for cancel. So in that case, we are just resetting the indicator again and we are simply leaving the loop. Now, after that, we are running we are executing one routine which is validate vendor 2. So let's see what we are doing here, because this is the main routine where everything is performed. So here we are firstly checking v2 quote number should not be like if it is not blank, then only we are converting this value to numeric value, because at the end we are going to use this quotation number for doing the chain on order p file. So if it is not zero, if it is not blank, it means it is zero. So in that case, we will just go with zero, by default zero. But if it is not blank, then we will go with that value. Okay. So here we are just converting it to decimal, and then we are storing it in one work field, which is w underscore quote number. Then we are doing chain on this file order p and checking if not found, if record is not there, or order status is not approved. If order status is not approved, then also we are going to give one message invalid or non-approved quote number. Okay, before that we are just clearing the vendor dashboard 2 again, and then we are just populating invalid or non-approved quotation number, and then we are turning on the indicator star in 0 star in 88, which is for reverse image. Else if what we are doing, if v2 per unit price is 0, in that case what we are doing, we are just populating the data here. Although this is not a complete logic, because suppose if user has input every detail at one go, in that case what will happen, it will not show any detail to the user. But as we are just creating it for demo purpose, so in that case we are assuming that user will put one by one data. So if the per unit price is blank, in that case it will show the detail again, that these are the details, so you can decide the per unit price. Okay, so this is a kind of thing that we can improve later as per our requirement, but for now we are just going with this logic. So in else if condition, we are just populating the data. So all those fields which is started with v2 is a screen field, and the fields which is started with o underscore is a file field. Okay, then we are resetting the indicator 88, which is for reverse image and position cursor, then turning on the 88.9 indicator, it will turn on the reverse image for this field, per unit price field, and then we are assigning the error messages per unit price cannot be blank. In else if condition, what we are doing, we are just checking if v2 delivery charges star zeros, it means that user hasn't put any data on it. So what we are doing, we are just resetting the indicator again and turning on the indicator 90, which is for reverse image for the delivery charge field, and then we are assigning the message as delivery charges cannot be blank. If all these conditions are true, in that case we will go with, sorry, if all these conditions are false, in that case we are going to else condition, where we are resetting every indicator, error message. Then we are doing settle on star level pay detail file. Then we are calculating the final price. So for calculating final price, this is my file field, right? So what we are doing, we are just multiplying the per unit price to order quantity, and then we are adding the delivery charge to it. So this is just a basic calculation we are doing for final price. As per your requirement, you can change it also. And then we are assigning order file details into into the pay detail file, because once the receipt is generated, then we are going to store the data into this file. Okay, and then we are checking for monitor. Why? Because we have set a unique keyword on this pay detail file. So suppose if there is already one ID with the same quotation number, then it will not go for adding the duplicate record. So just we are checking it here. If it comes into error, then it will go to the on error stage. There it will give the message as already generated. But if it is not a duplicate value, then it will simply write the data, clear the vendor dashboard, clear the quotation number, repopulate the program name. So in this way, this is not required, like you can delete this line also, because we have already assigned the name prior to that screen, right? And then we are just doing end mode, end if, and end sr. So in this way, we can write a simple logic, basic logic for validating the customer vendor option 2. So once this is done, we are just going to undo, and we are done with this option 2. So this is just a basic logic. You can improve many more things here, because as per your requirement you can change anything which you want. Okay, so let's compile this and see how it is working. So I'm calling this. So firstly what we will do, we will generate one request from customer. So I'm logging with my customer ID. Let me put my correct password ID here. So yeah, from here I will take option 1 for generating quotation request. I'm selecting my product as mobile, product quantity as 10, delivery type as urgent, and hitting enter. So it is generated. Now I will go to vendor dashboard. So this is the vendor dashboard. Here I'm inserting my credential. Let me insert it again. Yeah, so from here I will go for option 1, and you can see right now the status is P, which is pending. So let's see whether it generate the receipt for pending status. So I take option 2, put quotation number as 5. So it is giving the message invalid or non-approved quotation number because it is not approved. So we will go for one option. We will take option 1 here to approve it. It is approved now. Status is changed to A. Now we will go option 2, and here I am passing the quotation number as 5. So what I was saying at that time, suppose if user put all these detail correct in one way, then it will not show any data here, because we keep the logic in the else condition, so it will not go inside that, right? What will happen if user has pressed only inserted the quotation number and hitting enter? Oh, let me check this status again. So it is 4, right? Quotation number is 4, not the 5. So let me go and take option 2. Here I will put 4. So if I do enter here on 4, so it will populate the data. But if user has already filled these two values, means the delivery per unit price and delivery charge, in that case it will directly generate the receipt. Okay, so if you don't want to go in that way, you can change your logic accordingly, but for now we are just writing this logic. So I'm inserting the quantity and per unit price, then hitting enter, so it is edit. So just take F12. Let's see data inside the physical file. Doing run query. Yes, so fourth record is added for mobile. Let's check. So it performs all the calculation, and we got the 110 as a final price. This field is blank because I'm going to use the same physical file for further process also. Like whenever user put in data, it will be inserted here. Whenever the dispatch is performed, we will change this address to dispatch, so that text will indicate that this is dispatched. And once the order is paid, then we will just change this field to paid. So we are going to use this field for various purpose, right? Just to make it simple, I'm using only two files here. Okay, so this is how we can write a logic for vendor dashboard 2 option. Okay, so far we have discussed how to write a logic for vendor option 2, as well as we discussed the screen designing for the same, right? Now what we will do, we will learn another process or another option. So for that, I'm calling this program. Firstly, I will show you the screen, and then we'll discuss the screen designing. Okay, so I'm login with my ID, which is my vendor ID and password. So this is the option we just previously we saw, generate receipts. So once the receipt is generated by the vendor, then what process will be next? So if receipt is generated, now customer will approve, means customer will see those detail and then place the order. So that thing we are going to discuss today. So for that, I'm turning on application with my customer ID. So what we do, initially we send the request, then on vendor side we approved or denied it, and after that we generate the receipt. Now once receipt is generated, now we are going to discuss this function, which is view quotation and place order. So for that I'm taking option 2 here. So this is the screen that we are going to discuss today, or in this portion. Okay, so you can see that there are some verbiages, some fields. These fields are for mainly for the input purpose, right? So let's see how we can design this screen. And once it is designed, then we will see how it works. Like whenever user provide any quotation number here, then it will validate if data is existing in the file, then or it is generated by vendor, then it will populate the data here, otherwise it will give the issue. Okay, and also it will ask for the delivery address, like where the user wants to deliver this product. So let's see designing part. So for that I'm taking option 17 on my display file. Now we are going to discuss about customer dashboard 2, open with 12. So firstly we are just declaring the header portion, same as we did for previous screens. So this is coming from start date, start time, start user. This is the output field, name as S1 prog name, and other things are normal verbiages with some different color, like here I'm using white, here I'm using yellow. And then this is the blank reverse image field, then this is the normal text, this is this column separator, and these are the text: product ID, product quantity, per unit price, final price, quotation number, product name, delivery type, delivery charges, order status, and delivery address. Now let's see what all fields we have decided. So above fields are just for the output purpose. So name we are doing in naming convention we are using like this. This is the customer option second, so I just keep the prefix as C2 order ID. Okay, similarly C2 prod quantity, and C2 per unit price, right? So likewise we have decided name for all the fields, and then this is the quotation number field where we are assigning the name as C2 quotation number. And if you want to check the reverse image, like how we are setting it, so just put asterisk here, go for attributes. From here you can see that I am using Y on reverse image and underline. So if you want to means this is for underline, so instead of that we can set it to cursor position. So let me position cursor, yeah. So this is the position cursor we have set. Similarly for delivery address we can also set that attribute, so it is already on position cursor, right? So this is how we will set the indicators. And then this is again the blank line, and this is one output message field, S1 error message, normal verbiage, F3 and F12. Once the screen designing is done, you can press F12. Here you can take option 8, then go for indicators, set these two required indicators, CF03 and CF012. After that you can just simply hit enter and compile your display file. Once display file is compiled, you should also compile the program as well. And once program is also compiled, then you are good to use it. So I'm logging with my customer ID, option second. So this is how it works, right? Now we will discuss how we can write a logic. So suppose if I want to view and details for my order 3, so it is asking for me a delivery address. Okay, and also it populates the data. But here also I'm using logic in this way, like if user is trying to insert, if user has inserted all the value correct at one go, then it will not display anything here. What it will do, it will directly write it into file. But if there is any issue with the delivery, suppose he is not passing the delivery address, in that case it will show only these details, because we keep this data population in else condition. That we will discuss when we are writing logic for it. Okay, but for now we just discuss how to design this screen. Okay. Okay, so now we will discuss the logic for customer option 2, and before that I will show you the working, like how it is working, and then we'll see the logic. So firstly I'm logging with my customer ID, taking option 2. So here whenever we are providing any quotation number, let's say if I am providing the quotation number which is already for which order is already placed, so let's say 3, so it is showing that invalid or non-approved quotation number, because this is invalid because we have already placed the order. So you can change the error message as well as per your condition. You can make it as generic as well. Okay, But if the order ID is quotation number is correct, let's say if I am passing 4, then it will ask, like it populates the data and also it asks for delivery address. Okay, but there is one trick, like if I put the quotation number and delivery address both correct at one go, then it will not show anything here. It will not populate any data. Why? Because I just write the logic it in else condition, so that if there is any issue with a delivery address, then only it will populate the data. So as per your requirement, you can change the logic. Okay, there are various way you can also make in this way, like firstly it will show the window where all the data is populated, then we can press F6 for generating the order. So it is up to you how you are designing, but for now we are doing in that way. Okay, so here if I put a delivery address, then it will generate write the data. So let's say I put data as test 4 data. Okay, so I just keep my delivery address as test 4 data, and if I hit enter, so it is generated, it is placed, order is placed. So let's see, this is the pay detail file. I'm doing run query over it. So it shows that this fourth record is being updated with test 4 data, which is address. So now what we will do, we will reutilize this field. So once order is dispatched, then we will change it to dispatch. Once order is means payment is done, it will change to paid. Why? Because I'm not going to create any other extra columns for now, just we are reutilizing it. But if there is any requirement where you want to keep it separately, so you can create one column with like variables like order dispatched y or n, payment completed y or n. So likewise you can do, but just for demo purpose I am reutilizing this field only. Okay, so let's see how we are using logic for this purpose. So I'm calling this program, sorry, I'm taking the program in edit mode. Now we will search for customer 2. So this is the option customer 2. So here we are checking when S1 OPT is 2. So previously we discussed like how we are doing the select one, right? So mainly we are discussing about this option 2. So here firstly we are clearing the dashboard, customer dashboard. Then we are doing do while on star in03, and till it is off we will show the screen. It means user didn't press any F3 key for exit purpose. Okay, so till then it will show the screen. Then we are populating the program name, hard-coded program name, into screen field S1 prog name. Then we are doing exfmt on customer dashboard 2, and then clearing the error message again. After that we are checking if in012 is on. It means user has pressed F12 key for doing the exit, or sorry, not exit, cancel. So in that case we are firstly reset the indicator, which is star in12, and then we are leaving the loop. Okay, and after that if the user didn't press any F12 condition, then it will go and check for the validation. So this is the main routine where everything is processed for option 2, customer option 2. So let me show you that. So this routine is for mainly for the validation purpose. So here we are checking C2 quotation number is not blank. If it is not blank, then only we are converting this quotation number to decimal and storing it into the program field or program variable, which is w underscore quote number. Why we are doing this? Because this is the variable that we are going to use for doing the chain on the file pay detail, because there the field is numeric and we are accepting the quotation number in characters. Okay, so firstly we are converting it to decimal, and then we are storing it into program field, and then we are using it for chain. Why we keep this if condition? Because suppose if the customer number is like if it is not blank, then only we will check, otherwise it will give error while converting it to decimal. Okay, so after this we are doing chain on with q w underscore q quote number on file pay detail, and then we are checking if not found, it means record is not there, or p address not blank. In that case we are just clearing the dashboard again and populating the message s1 error message as invalid or non-approved quotation number. You can change this message to generic as well. It is up to you how you want to show the message, but for now I am just keeping this generic message invalid or non-approved quotation number. Then we are turning on the indicator 88, which is the reverse image or position cursor. Below to that we are checking for else if condition. So this is the thing that we were discussing on screen, like it will populate data only in case of else, because we keep the logic inside the else if. You can see that this logic is in else if. So if you want to show data every time, like whether the field is correct or not, in that case you can slightly change the logic, but just for demo purpose I keep in the else if condition. So if uh, delivery address is not provided, then in that case only it will show the data, otherwise it will directly write the data into file. So this is the p underscore is the uh, file field which is coming from pay detail file, and this c2 fields is a screen field where we are just showing the data. Then we are doing reset for star in 88 indicator, then turning on the 89 indicator for reverse image and position cursor in case of delivery address is blank. And then we are populating one message, delivery address cannot be blank. If both condition are false, then it will came inside this else condition where we are doing chain on with w underscore quote number on pay detail r file. Okay, then we are assigning the screen delivery address to file, and then we are just updating the file which is pay detail r, and then we are clearing it and clearing the dashboard and clearing the w underscore quote number. Okay, so you can see that we are just updating the pay detail r address, means we are just updating the address in pay detail r file. We are not writing any new record, we are just updating it with the given address. Then we are doing end if and sr. Okay, so after end sr it will directly go to outside the loop, and then the process for option 2 is completed. So you can see after that we are doing undo, and this option 2 when s1 opt is 2 is completed. Okay, so this is how we can write the logic for option 2 for customer. So let me show you the processing. Like we just saw how to do the, like how to pass. So if I call it again and if I try to insert the same ID again, which we just for which we just place the order for, so it is giving the message invalid or non-approved quotation number. So this is just a kind of generic message, you can change as per your requirement, because for now I just keep this in this way. So this is how this customer option 2 works. Okay, so now we will see the screen designing for vendor option 3. Okay, and then we will go for the program logic. So before that I will show you the option, and then we'll see the screen designing. So what we just did, like with customer panel or customer dashboard, we place the order, right? So after placing the order, we will wait for the order dispatch that vendor will perform. So this option will be performed later, which is dispatch product. So when user take option 3 here, this screen will appear, and we will in this portion we are going to discuss on this screen designing, and then we will go for the logic. So how it works, like whenever I provide any quotation number here, let's say if I am providing 1 which is already dispatched, so it is giving message invalid or already dispatched. Now if I put 2, then it loads the data. Okay, so here you can see that we are loading the data at first, and after that we are allowing user to press F6 to dispatch the order. Okay, you can set more validation here also, like it should be data should be filled before pressing F6. So this is up to you, like how you are validating it. Okay, but for now what we are doing, we are just asking for a quotation number, and if record is there in file, then it will load the data. And after that, but for this the delivery address should be mandatory, because customer is providing that, only then we are able to dispatch the product, right? So after populating the data, whenever user press F6, it will dispatch the order. Okay, but in this portion we are just going to discuss about this screen designing part. So let me take you to the display file. So record is cust vendor option 3, vendor dash 3. So I'm taking option 12 here. So this is normal header information. In same way we discussed in previous portions, you can design, and these value coming from start date, start time, star user. Then this is the blank reverse image field. This is normal text with some colors. Then this is the title, dispatch header, dispatch product. Then this is the blank column separated line. Then this is the normal text, product ID, quantity, per unit price. So whatever the detail you want to display, you can keep there. And then these are the fields are in output mode, and only this field is in both mode, other fields are in output mode. So you can see by taking question mark here the name. So name we have assigned here is v3 order id, which is order id for vendor option 3. Okay, likewise we have decided the name for other fields also, which is v3 product id, v3 final price, right? So likewise we have decided for other values. Now this is the normal text with blue color where we keep press F6 to dispatch order. Then this is a reverse image, blank reverse image, and output message field, which is error message. Okay, so this field and this field have same name, S1 prog name or S1 error message in all the screens. Other screens are separated by the prefix, because here we are working for vendor option 3, so we just keep the prefix as v3, otherwise it could cause some conflicts. And then this is the normal text, F3 for exit, F12 for cancel. After designing this part, you can take a F12, and here you can take option 8 for setting the indicator. Going for indicator yes, here we are setting 3 indicators, CF03, CF12 and CF06, where 03 is for exit, 12 is for cancel, and 6 is for dispatch. So this is the new indicator we are using here, right? In previous screens we are not using this. So right now we are using CF06 for dispatch confirmation. Then simply hit enter and compile your display file. So right now I have already completed my logic here, so that's why I'm compiling it again, my program, because if you are doing any changes or any compilation with your display file, then it should be, you should compile your program also, otherwise it will give error. After that you can just simply call your program. You can provide the ID, not this, the customer ID, which is 121212, and the password, and hit enter. So after that it will show that dispatch product screen is ready. Right now you can see that here we are not getting any underline for the fields. Why? Because we have set, let me change this value. So taking option 12, going for this, here you can see the reverse image is set, but in place of position cursor I think we have set the underline. So take yes, so we have set the indicator on underline, which is not correct. We would like to go with position cursor. So let me set it to position cursor. It is set. Now removing it and hit enter. Now compiling it again, program compilation, calling it, login with my vendor ID. This time it should show, taking option 3, line. So you can see now line is coming. So by mistakenly previously what we do, we just remove the underline. So now we just fixed it and make it as a means right now it is accepting the position cursor also. Okay, so this is how the screen designing look like. Now we will discuss the logic in next portion. Okay, so now we will discuss the logic for vendor option 3. So before that I will show you the functionality and then we'll see the logic. So I'm calling the program. Here I'm login with my vendor ID and password. From here I will take option 3 for dispatch product, and here you can see that all the information is in output field. So whenever user pass the quotation number, so if I'm passing the quotation number which is already dispatched, then it will give the message invalid or already dispatched product. Otherwise, if I'm passing the correct one, so it will show the details and ask for press F6 to dispatch the order. Okay, so this is how this is we just saw that how to design this screen. Now we will see the functionality. So I'm pressing F6. So once I press F6, it will dispatch the product. So let's see what it changed in the file. So I'm doing RQ here for unquery, hitting enter. So you can see that now the address field is changed to dispatched because we are reutilizing this field only. So it is changed to dispatched. It means order is dispatched. You can also create separate fields, but for now we are just reutilizing the same field. Now let's see the program logic. So for that I'm just directly going to vendor dashboard part. Here we will discuss the option 3, vendor option 3, S1 OPT is 3. So what we are doing when S1 OPT is 3, we are running one loop till IN03 is off. It means user didn't press any F3 key for exit. Then we are populating the hard-coded program name to S1 prog name field, which is a screen field. After that we are doing exfmt on vendor dashboard 3. So this will populate the screen, and below to that we are just clearing the error message. Then we are checking for IN012. If user has opted for cancel screen, then it will reset the indicator and then simply leave the loop. And below to that we are just executing the main routine which process the vendor option 3 functionality. So let's see the routine. Here as usual, firstly we are checking whether the v3 quotation number is, if v3 quotation number is not blank, then only we are converting the screen field value to decimal, and then we are storing it into w underscore quote term variable, which is program variable. So this variable we are using for doing the chain on pay detail file. So on line number 430 you can see we are doing chain on with w underscore quote number on p detail file. Okay, below that we are just checking three condition, like if record not found, or p underscore address is dispatched, already dispatched, or p underscore address is blank. In that case we are just clearing the vendor dashboard again and giving the message invalid or already dispatched. Message you can change as per your requirement, but for now we just keep this generic message invalid or already dispatched. Then we are turning on the 88 indicator, which is for reverse image and position cursor. In else what we are doing, we are just populating the file fields into the screen fields. So whatever the fields started with p underscore is file field, we just do the change. So from there we are getting these value file from files, and then we are assigning it to the screen field, which is started from v3. So after data is populated, then we are checking for two condition, like p address should not be dispatched, already dispatched, and f6 should be on. If these two conditions are true, then it will go on inside again, and then we are again doing the chain on quotation number pay detail r, and then updating the p address with dispatched. So we are just moving the hard coded value to p address because we are reutilizing this field, and then we are updating the file pay detail r, and then doing the clear on means we are clearing the screen, clearing the quotation number, and resetting the indicator f6 or star in06. After that we are just doing end if, and sr. So after coming back to this routine, it will go for end2, and here the option 3 completed. So this is how we can write the logic for vendor option 3. Okay, so now we will discuss the screen designing for customer option 3. Okay, so before we discuss the screen designing, let me show you the output first, and then we'll go for screen designing, and later we will discuss the logic. So I'm calling it. So here I'm login with my customer ID and password. Now I will take option 3 for this option, which is view receipt and payment. So this is how the screen looks like, where we can pass the quotation number, and after quotation number when we hit enter, so, like if in case of user directly passing the quotation number and account number, then it will directly do the payment. But if user failed to means if user didn't pass this account number, then it will show the final price all again, that this is the final price for which you are using the your account number. Okay, so this thing you can also handle, like you can firstly you can populate this value, and then later you can ask for account number. So it is up to you. Okay, so let me show you how it is working first. So let's say I'm keep my option quotation number as 2. So it will populate the amount, which is 420, and it is asking for the account number. Okay, so this is how screen look like. So let's see the screen designing first, and then we'll go for logic. So I'm taking option 17 here. Now the record name is cust-3. which is of record type taking 12. So this is just a basic header information, as this thing we are doing in every screen, where this value is coming from start date, start time, start user. This is the output field, where the name is S1 prog name, and this is the blank reverse image line. This is normal verbiage. This is column separator, and then we are asking for three values, where first one is the first and third is in both mode, and final price is in output mode. It is up to you, like if you want to remove this field, that is also fine. You can just directly put your quotation number and accordingly it will fetch the final price. But in case if user forgot to mention this account number, in that case we can populate the value. So likewise you can change your logic as per your requirement. So let's see what is the quotation number. Field name, so we keep the prefix as C3 for these fields, which because this screen is for customer option 3. So C3 quotation number, another field is C3 final price, and another field is C3 account number. Okay, and below to that we have one blank reverse image field again. Then this is the output field where we can populate the messages like S1 error message, and this is normal function key description, F3 for exit, F12 for cancel. So this is all about this screen. Now taking F12, taking option 8, going for indicators, and here we are just setting these two basic indicators, CF03 and CF012. So this is all about the screen designing. So once you are done with screen designing, you can compile your display file program which contains the logic that we are going to discuss now, and then once you call this program, it will show you that screen will look like this. Okay, so in this way you can design the screen for customer option 3. Alright, so now we will discuss the logic for customer option 3. Before that, I will show you the actual data in our physical file, which is pay details. So I'm doing run query here. So you can see that by default, whenever we are doing dispatch, it changed the address field because we are reutilizing this field again and again. So firstly, it will hold address, then it will hold the status as a dispatched, and now once we are done with the payment, it will change to paid. Okay, so this is how we will manage this field. So let's see how it is changing the data. So for that, I'm calling the program. Here I'm using my customer ID. Now taking the option 3, and yeah, here I'm passing my quotation number as 2. So right now it is showing the amount as 420, which is correct. Now I will put my account number. So for now I'm just checking for blank, but you can validate everything for the account number as per your requirement, and then I'm hitting enter. So it clears, it means record is paid, means payment is done. So let's see, do run query in this file. So you can see that now the field has got changed. Now the field become paid because we are done with the payment. So this is how it works. So let's quickly look at the logic for this. So I'm taking option 2 on my program. We'll go for customer dashboard part, and then we'll see the logic for customer option 3. So this is the logic where we are starting with the customer option 3. So what you need to do, you just need to add one when condition where we are passing S1, where we are checking S1 OPT3. If it is equals to 3, then we are just clearing the S1 error message, because for the first time it should not show any error. And then we are assigning the hard-coded program name to S1 prog name, and then we are running one loop, a do while loop till the IN03 is off. It means user didn't press any F3 key for exit. After that, like this thing you can remove from here because we are already doing this in here also. So let me delete it from here. Yeah, so after assigning the program name, you can see that we are doing exfmt on customer dashboard 3, which is third screen for customer. Then we are clearing the S1 error message, and then we are checking for the F12 condition. Like if star IN012 is on, then we are resetting the indicator star IN12, and then we are doing the leave. It means if user press F12, then it will simply leave the loop. And below to that, we are running one routine which is for validate cust3. So let me call this. Let me search it. Yeah, so this is the routine that perform the payment. So what we are doing here, we are just checking if C3 quote number is not blank, then only we are converting it to decimal, otherwise it will give error in conversion. So we are just doing in this way, like if it is not blank, then only convert this to a decimal, and then this decimal variable, this program variable, we are going to use for chain operation. So you can see on 463 we are doing chain with the variable w quote num on pay detail file. If not found, if record not found, or p address is already paid, or p address equals to star blank, in that case what we will do, we will just clear the dashboard and will populate the message invalid or already paid. Okay, and then we are turning on the indicator 88, which is for reverse image. Else if we are checking if account number is blank, in only in that case we are populating the final price. So I told you that you can change this logic, because right now what we are doing, we are just checking this conditions inside the else if condition. So if you are providing correct value at first go, then it will not show any value on the screen, it will directly write it into the file. But if you want to show it deal means every time, then you can change the logic slightly. Okay, then we are clearing the account number and then resetting the indicator 88 and turning on the 89 indicator, which is for account number, and then we are populating the message invalid account number. If both these conditions are false, then it will come inside the else loop, else block, where what it will do, it will perform the chain on chain with the quotation number on paid DTLR, and then it will change the p address field to paid and update the paid DTLR, which is paid DTLR is my record format name, then clearing the dashboard and clearing the w1 quotation number. So this is how this routine will get, and like end if end sr, and after end sr it will directly come out of this block, means this routine, and we are doing just end to. So this is how the logic works. So let me show you after compiling it again. So let's see for 3 id 3 account number is 10, so it is paid. Let's go and check inside the file. So you can see it is changed to paid. So this is how the logic works. So we have covered the entire program for this application. So basically we have 6 functionality, 3 is from customer side and 3 is from vendor side. So in logic terms, we are done with all these code lines of code. So what you can do, you can go through that recording and you can try, means this session, and you can try to implement these things into your application. And I would suggest you to find out bugs in this case study and try to resolve that, because this is the only way we can learn the new things. So just try to modify this code and just try to implement new things to this application, and you can enhance this application also. So now what we will do, we will have a final look once at the entire application, like what all functionality we have created so far. Okay, so now I will show you the entire case tree processing in one go. So let me call this program, and you can consider this as a final demo for our case study. So calling this program. So first of all, we will see this screen. From this screen, user can log in, means customer can also log in with his ID, and vendor can log in with his ID. So let me log in first with customer ID. So once customer log in with their credential, he can see 3 options. First is send quotation request, second is view quotation and place order, and third is view receipt and payment. So let me take first option, which is for sending the quotation request. Here he can see that quotation number is 5, which is auto incremented value. So I'm selecting my product as desktop, quantity I'm selecting as 10, and delivery type I'm selecting as urgent, and then I'm hitting enter. Delivery type is urgent and enter. Okay, so record is added, means quotation request is sent. Now the quotation number is changed to 6. Okay, now take F12. Now what vendor will do, he will log in with his ID, because second option is dependent on vendor. So what he will do, let me log in with my vendor ID. So with vendor ID, once we log in, we will see these three options. First is generate quotation, second one is generate receipt, and third one is dispatch product. So let's see the first option, which is generate quotation. From here he can see that the new request is added, which is in pending status for quotation number 5. So he can take option either 2 or 1. So 1 is for approved, so it is changed to approved, and 2 is for declined. So if he takes 2, then it is declined. Okay, but we will go with the positive scenario for now. So I'm taking option 1, so it is approved. After approving, he can generate the receipt. So to generate the receipt, he can, like, we have fifth record, right? So we will take option 2 for generating the receipt. Here we can pass the quotation number as 5, hit enter. So all the details are populated. If he provide all those details in one go, then it will directly write the record. But if he missed any of the field, then it will show all the details again. Now we will pass the per unit price, which is 10, hit enter. Now delivery charge is also 10 and hit enter. So record is added, means generate receipt is done. Now take F12. Now now the next functionality will depend on customers. So let me go to the customer ID, and here I will take option 2 for view quotation and place order. So here he can pass the value, which is 5, quotation number 5, and hit enter. So it will ask for the delivery address, and it shows the detail. So here I am passing my address as test address. Okay, now hitting enter. So it is added. Now what vendor will do, like, he has placed the order, so he will dispatch the product. So for dispatching, I will again log in with my vendor ID, taking option 3. Here we can pass the option 5, quotation number 5, and hit enter. So it will show the details, and after pressing F6, it will dispatch the product. So pressing F6, so product is dispatched now. Now we will go back to this customer portion, because here we will do the payment. So for payment, I am taking option 3 and taking quotation number as 5, hitting enter. So it will show the final price, which is 1110, and account number is, you can pass any account number. Right now I'm just checking for the blank thing, so I can pass anything and hit enter. So we are done with this functionality. So in this way the entire application will work. So throughout this application, or throughout this session, what we see how each and every screen, like how to design the screens, how to write a logic for screen. But this is not, still I'm saying that it is not the complete project. There are many things that you can implement here. You can enhance this application, you can resolve the bugs also. Like if you found any bugs here, you can resolve it. By doing these things, you will be have some good knowledge or good hands-on on these topics. Okay, so I would suggest you to go and enhance this application and try to create a few different scenarios for the same. So I hope this entire session was useful for you, and you will have you are trying to implement these things, and it is helping you to implement those things. So yeah, that's all for this entire series. So thank you for watching TechSharmat.